Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, now, I have some incredibly strange tales to tell all of you today, folks. One involving the Grinning, and another, this apparition of a soldier that saved this man during war. Let's get into the first article. Odorous grinning man encounter at a Midwest convenience store, and hear exactly what the witness what he met, folks. Let's get into the article now. In 1992, an otherwise routine stop at a convenience store turned into an encounter that still haunts the witness decades later. What began as a brief wait in line became an experience defined by an overwhelming odor, unnatural heat, and a disturbing expression that felt deliberate. This report stands out because no one else appeared to notice what the witness could not escape. The incident occurred in 1992. I only told a few people afterward, and most of them looked at me like I was crazy. I had a regular convenience store where I would stop at to grab a soda or water. That night, I went to the cooler, picked up a bottle of water, and got in line behind a man at the counter. Almost immediately, I was hit with a smell unlike anything I had ever experienced. I am a hunter, and I have gutted deer before, and this was worse. It was close, but not the same. It was overpowering, organic, and made me gag. So, wherever it was truly, decayed and incredibly rotten was what this man was smelling, folks. Let's continue. Along with the smell, there was the intense heat. It felt like standing in front of one of those fast food heat lamps. I could actually feel it radiating off him, the way you can feel fever heat coming off a seriously sick child. I remember thinking there was no way everyone else couldn't notice this. I looked around. There were 3 or 4 people behind me in line, calmly handling their purchases. No one reacted. I looked at the cashier, and he seemed completely normal, as if nothing unusual was happening. The man stepped forward and brought a pack of Marlboro cigarettes, the box kind. I was standing about 2 feet behind him. I am 6'1", and he was probably around 6'4". As he turned slightly, his right shoulder angled toward my left, he glanced at me out of the corner of his eye. It felt like a private joke, the kind you exchange with someone who knows something you do. He cocked his lips into a half grin and stared at me sideways. That was when I noticed something else. His mouth did not seem to fit his teeth. They were not sharp or jagged, but the skin looked stretched, almost too tight. He tilted his head slightly, held that strange grin, and then walked away. Well, this guy really gives me Joker vibes here. If you've ever seen basically comic book Joker, or at least basically more stylized versions of the Joker, almost with basically fangs at times too. This time, though, you get that feeling that this entity was not human, and he was probably laughing on the inside at this guy who he just frightened the living daylights out of. But let's save on coming to any conclusions until after we read the rest of the witness's story. The experience terrified me. I had nightmares about it afterward, and I have never encountered that smell or that kind of heat again. As I moved forward in line, I glanced at the woman behind me. She was distracted by whatever she was holding, completely unaffected. I was certain she would react, but she did not. I still think about it to this day. The man was dressed normally. He wore Levi jeans, cowboy boots, a black braided leather belt, and a neat Oxford shirt tucked in. His hair was very short. Even by 1992 standards, nothing about his clothing stood out. Everything else did. So that's interesting, folks. Usually these entities wear clothing that can be out of date or is off in some way. Here, it sounds like this man was completely normal outwardly, but it was almost like he was basically putting on a show for basically the witness behind him who noticed something off, and especially about the smell. Now, we'll talk more about this after we read the next article, which is titled Giant Apparition at Landing Zone Oasis, Vietnam, 1966. Door gunners encounter with a silent guardian, and read how this gunner perhaps maybe encountered his guardian angel, folks. Let's get into this article now and discuss it as well after we read it. In the late afternoon hours of 1966, amid active combat near the Vietnamese, DMZ, a U.S. Army helicopter crewman experienced an event that defied every conventional explanation of warfare. What occurred at Landing Zone Oasis unfolded in seconds, yet altered the witness's understanding of life, death, and survival forever. The account remained unspoken for decades, raising a profound question about the unseen forces at work on the battlefield. The witness was serving as a door gunner assigned to perimeter guard duty at the Oasis landing zone on the previous night. The position had come under attack, and a C-130 gunship nicknamed Puff the Magic Dragon provided devastating fire support just beyond their perimeter. The streams of tracer fire appeared like liquid flame cutting through the darkness. The following morning, the door gunners reorganized their ammunition belts, grouping all tracer rounds together in hopes of recreating the same visual and suppressive effect during daylight operations. That afternoon, the crew departed on a reconnaissance mission and returned toward the landing zone. With weapons already firing, the landing zone was wide open, covered in waist-high dry grass. Enemy fire erupted as the helicopter touched down, and tracer rounds ignited small fires across the field. Over the intercom, the witness heard that another helicopter behind them was down, possibly disabled by main rotor damage and surrounded by fire. His captain ordered him to grab a fire bottle and assist. In his urgency, the witness ran toward the downed aircraft without taking his rifle. As he approached the crew, Chief waved him back, indicating the helicopter was no longer disabled and preparing to lift off. The witness turned and began running back toward his own aircraft. Moments later, he became disoriented in the smoke and tall grass, and he realized he was lost. Suddenly, a voice shouted, "Dung Le, Vietnamese for stop or halt." He turned to see a North Vietnamese soldier aiming an AK rifle directly at him. Completely unarmed, the witness dropped to his knees with his hands raised. The enemy soldier spoke rapidly in Vietnamese, words the witness could not understand, while slowly backing away. The witness became certain he was about to be executed. Fear gave way to an overwhelming sense of sadness as his life seemed to replay before his eyes. He silently hoped that whatever was coming would be quick and painless. Then, without warning, a profound sense of peace washed over him, unlike anything he had ever felt. A loud crack rang out. The witness jumped, believing he had been shot, but instead heard a heavy thump. The enemy soldier collapsed to the ground dead. Standing before him was the tallest figure he had ever seen. The being appeared human, resembling a U.S. soldier, yet stood between 7 and 8 feet tall. His uniform was immaculate, with no dirt, sweat, or signs of combat. He stood motionless, flawless, and unreal. The witness noticed a faint aura surrounding the figure, and although the helmet shaded his eyes, the figure was clearly visible beneath it. The figure spoke calmly, telling him that everything was all right and that he would be safe. Then came words the witness would never forget. "Thomas, go back to your bird." The figure's lips never moved. The witness understood instantly that the message had been delivered directly into his mind. Thomas ran back to his helicopter without hesitation. As the aircraft lifted off, he looked down and saw the dead enemy soldier below. The towering figure was gone. He told no one about what truly happened for more than 30 years. I imagine this guy didn't tell anyone for 30 years because it sounds almost too insane for anyone to believe. But there have been other stories of encounters on battlefields as well as, where people basically nearly die, folks, and they encounter these figures that save their lives that they think could be their guardian angels, folks. Was this guy this man's guardian angel? Well, it does sound like it, but what about this other enemy soldier, folks? He was struck dead. It sounds like this guy, this angel being, was there to protect this man, but why was his life more important than, say, this other soldier that this entity killed? That is if we believe that the enemy soldier was killed by this angelic being, folks. Maybe it was just struck unconscious. We just can't be for sure. Either way, a truly strange story, folks, and just one of me that a lot of people, particularly soldiers, have had on the battlefield. But then again, other people have also supposedly encountered these beings who have saved their lives. So maybe there's more to it, folks. Was this being that saved this soldier's life really an angel, or was it some other type of entity? An alien being, perhaps? Some ultra-terrestrial force? We don't know. I would say it sounds definitely like this guy was saved by an angel, especially with the description given of this soldier and how he was immaculate and, well, gigantic. Either way, I think it was this guy's guardian angel, folks. Either way, we're now at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdog's Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.